What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I do my 10,000 steps Midtown get around over here by the old school CCS. Y'all know I'm a regular over here. I just enjoy, the atmosphere over here. This was a good place for me. I have a lot of really fond memories here, so I do enjoy coming over here and doing my walk. And hey, shout out to you guys, my subscribers, new and old. Thank you for coming along with me for the ride to 5,000 subscribers. By the end of the year, even better, if by Thanksgiving. But let's get into this topic. I'm here at a school, right? So that just reminds me of this scenario that happened over at U of M, which also is a school, right? So we have a Chinese student that illegally voted. This is here in Michigan, at University of Michigan. You have a Chinese student that illegally voted in our presidential election. He finessed his way into voting. His vote was counted, and how it ended up being discovered, because it wasn't discovered from my understanding. He tried to get the ballot back. He went about inquiring, trying to see if he could get the ballot back. Maybe he told somebody at the school or a couple people at the school that he did this, and they probably told him that he could get into trouble in some sort of way if this goes through. So he might have panicked and decided he was going to try to get it back before it went that far. But the damage was done. It was already too late. So him trying to get the ballot back, someone reported this, and he's been arrested. So, I mean, there's a few issues with this. The fact that an illegal, all right, well, is it fair to call him an illegal? Well, he illegally voted, so I'm not going to say he's an illegal over here illegally, because he's not if he's at a university. So I'll take back calling him an illegal, but he voted illegally. That is true. That does not change. You, as a Chinese citizen, do not get to vote in our presidential election. So his vote is going to stand, though, because according to them, they can't take it back. It's already been added. It can't be taken back. I don't know how accurate that is. If they're just saying that, we don't know which way he voted, but I mean, we can make an assumption of which way. He's at U of M. Listen, I've been to U of M a lot in my life, and I can tell you that school is extremely woke. It's one of the schools that not only was leaning into doing affirmative action, but after affirmative action was repealed, U of M said they're going to continue to do it, and good luck proving it. They said that they were going to always keep spaces open for minorities, and there was no way you were going to be able to prove it. So they were pretty defiant in that, and they've leaned into a lot of the woke stuff. It's pretty much become a indoctrination camp for woke ideologies and principles, if you even want to call the stuff that they stand on principles. So based on that, and here this is a student on this campus with all this pressure and influences to lean one way, it's not difficult to make an educated guesstimation of which way he probably voted. Had he voted the other way, I wonder if then they would have somehow find a way to take it back, because he voted the way they wanted him to. There's nothing they can do about it. But I will always wonder, if he would have voted the other way, would they have somehow found a way to get around it and get that vote taken back? So this is where we're at. And, I'm hearing these stories more and more in Michigan about this sort of stuff happening. I told you guys not too long ago about how 7 people were being prosecuted for voter fraud. You had people who voted twice, and you have election officials who knowingly counted votes twice. So we don't know how many votes were counted this way. We just know that 7 people were arrested and are being charged for this. But 7 people can do a lot of damage in terms of doing double voting and stuff one way or another. But in the case of this, they didn't say which way it was going, one or the other. But you and I probably can guess which way that was being counted as well. It really does seem like there is a underlying fix in. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I'm gonna be careful about what I say here, because the algorithm, when you're talking about elections and stuff, the algorithm gets overly sensitive. So forgive me for kind of watching what I say here, but it really does seem like there is a underlying attempt to sway the outcome one particular way, and take a guess which way that is. I'm not going to tell you, but take a guess which way that is, that the underlying efforts to sway it are going. I see far more stuff for, in terms of campaign ads and, marketing materials. Even on social media, I see far more promotion for one candidate than I do for the other. I say the promotion that I see for one candidate is like 5-1 compared to the other. I mean, really. Remember the other day that I was out walking and I seen signs for one candidate back to back to back while I was just walking around the neighborhood? So yeah, you have all these celebrities that are coming out endorsing one particular candidate, and you guys know who it is. You got Leonardo DiCaprio, you got LeBron James, you got Scarlett Johansson, Chris Evans, Beyonce. You get what I'm saying? You got all these celebrities coming out in droves. Woke Hollywood as a whole is coming out and really pushing for you to go one way. It's amusing to me how the ones who are pushing you to go this particular way the hardest are unaffected by the very things you're affected by. The very people that are trying to convince you to go out and cast your ballot in a way that is in no way, shape, or form beneficial to you are unaffected by the things that are happening. They are not paying these markups for eggs and milk. Well, no, they are, but they're not affected by it. They're not affected by paying more for Cole's cereal, okay? You paying more for Lucky Charms. You paying more for Captain Crunch. You paying more for Apple Jacks. And you're feeling it. They're paying more for it, but they don't really notice. If they have to pay $2 or $3 more for a box of cereal, they don't really notice. You're paying $1.50, $2 more per gallon for gas. They are too, but they don't really notice. I remember one time Paris Hilton got pulled over, and I don't know if she's endorsed somebody or not. I'm just using her as an example of how out of touch these Hollywood folk are. She had ran out of gas. She was out driving her fancy vehicle. I think at the time she had the Mercedes-Benz McLaren. And she's out there just having herself a good time. This is when she had that show, The Simple Life. But this wasn't on The Simple Life. TMZ caught her. She was out of gas. She needed gas. They helped her go get gas. They told her, she needed a gas can or something like that. She was like, how much is gas? And that cracked me up. Because I don't believe, or didn't believe then and don't believe now, that she was playing dumb. She did not know how much gas was. You could tell she was a rich girl, never had to worry about money, never had to worry about the prices of anything. So her car is always getting filled up. Either her father or somebody else would fill up her tank or whatever. Money was never an issue, so she didn't know how much gas is. Now, I know many of these celebrities, didn't come from that sort of upbringing. But since they got rich, they became very out of touch with everyday people's struggles. So that's the point that I'm making here, is that these people who are opting you to go out and vote in a manner that is not beneficial to you, they are doing so while they're out of touch. They're not suffering the way you're suffering. They don't have the same struggles that you have. You know, worrying about how rent is so much higher now. I mean, now $1,400 a month gets you, what, a studio? They're not affected by this stuff. All the inflation, you know, all the layoffs, they're not affected by this stuff. So I don't recommend listening to these people. I don't recommend allowing these people to influence you one bit. Go out and vote in a way that's beneficial for you. Even if you're not voting in the way that I believe you should and recommend you should, vote your way. But go out and vote. But man, jeez. Go out and vote, y'all. Go out and vote. This, with the way it's seeming like it's being set up for a surprise outcome, if you know what I mean, go out and vote. Take people with you. Get there early on voting day. Vote, please. Like that's all I'm gonna say here, man. Please go out and vote, man. Don't sit back and be like, oh, we've won, or it's looking like the guy that I want to win has already won. Don't sit back and wait on that, man. I have a feeling that there's gonna be a surprise outcome if people just sit on their hands and think this is already in the bag. It is not in the bag. They have tricks up their sleeve all the way to the bitter end. So do not sit complacent and allow yourself to be surprised, because the surprise is going to last for 4 years. Appreciate y'all connecting with me, man. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.